Well, hello. As I scurry into place, it's hardly the easy way to come in, but a little bit of listening to the song beforehand, maybe a preview of tomorrow's music. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. I'm Lisa Jameson. If I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, welcome for joining me. Welcome to you for joining me for a little bit of ease and restoration. Today, we'll work with lumbar extension and flexion. It seems like we spend an awful lot of time doing that. It seems like I spend an awful lot of time doing with it, but so many people are sitting like this all day that it's really imperative that we check in with this lumbopelvic region and spend some extra time there. The props that I will be using today, I always like to keep some blocks around because they're very helpful. I'm also going to use a relatively big square bolster. I'm pretty tall, and this is a good bolster for me to use. That said, sometimes we take it out. Sometimes people err on the side of just a little bit higher. I'll show you how to adjust as we go along and see what's right for you. Couch cushions, beach towels, anything you have is going to be great there. Let's just take a moment to arrive, take a look at the space that you've set up for yourself today. Maybe you don't have space that's all relaxation space, but for the next 30 minutes, this is where you belong. Welcome yourself here. Intend some ease for your body. What does that mean to you? Intend some ease. You might just hear the word over and over again, ease. See it on a screen that passes like a movie. Are you able to intend that, invite it, and allow it? Once we do that, we just notice, we watch, we listen, and we feel ourselves and see what comes up. There's no real rights or wrong. You'll hear me guide you into some places. You have creative license on all of this. If you find something comfortable and you just want to stay there, fall asleep. That works too. I'm going to start in this cross-legged position. You may do the same. You may do this up on some bolsters. I'll do this on the bolster today. Might feel good. Sometimes you just invite yourself to do something a little different. It's a little bit easier on the knees and the back. Let's go ahead and tend that ease. Welcome ourselves here. Take a deeper than normal inhale through your nose. Exhale with that audible sigh. Do that again so you can begin to listen. Again, so you can begin to feel. One more, just like that. Your next sigh marks the start of your practice for today. Go ahead, eyes in a steady gaze, a little forward and down. Muscles of your face can relax. Structures within your mouth at ease. Jaw unclenched. Tongue down. It'll move where it wants to, but tongue starts down. And throat clear, unconstricted. Bring that grace and ease perhaps to our neck and shoulders as well. Shoulders down. Notice where any ease is already present. Notice where any discomfort is, and if it's just nicer to move, nicer to be held instead of holding, go ahead and do that. Then, if and as you'd like to invite a little more ease, the practice is in through your nose, out through an imaginary straw. Once your body is allowed to do that practice, in through the nose, out through an imaginary straw, just watch, listen, feel. In time, your breath will slow. It is the best invitation I know. Best invitation I know. to invite yourself to that parasympathetic state, that ease state that your body prefers. Welcome home. On your own time, we'll check in with those spinal movements, just a little bit, flexion and extension. That's that cat-cow. Again, you'll hear me say it all the time, nothing big and grand. These are just checking in. Lateral flexion or side bendings, head goes, body follows, right? All of it gets to go. Might feel a stretch over here, a stretch over here. A little bit of rotation, eyes and face goes, body follows. And then put it all together if you'd like. Where does your body want to go? What feels good to just move? And then I'll invite you to not change too much from this position, but soles of your feet are going to come together. A lot of times we get in this position, I see everybody grab their ankles and wedge them into their body as if they have to be way in there. They naturally go there. I'm nice and high on this bolster right now, so that actually feels pretty nice. If I were to sit on the floor, which I may in a moment, usually a little bit farther apart feels right, feels comfortable. Don't really want you to feel this in your knees. Our job is not to torque those knees or get that cartilage grinding. So you have a couple of options. Generally speaking, it's feet a little farther away and or dorsiflex or pull those toes towards your knees. Another easy way is to just not have so much stretch. I know it might feel good. I know you can handle it, but what would happen if you backed the hips out, brought a little looseness to the hip joints, a little ease to the hip joints, and sometimes the knees could say, oh, that's all I needed. So do what is right for you on this day. I think I'm going to stay up on this bolster. Feels quite good. I'm going to hold on to my ankles. I'm not going to grip. I'm just going to rest my hands there. Try that flexion and extension today. We're working mostly with flexion and an extension of the lumbar. I want you to come all the way up into that extension. Chest is lifted. Eyes are going to your high corner of the room. Your head doesn't have to drop back. And we're just going to hold our bodies through this. It's a little work. Take a nice deep breath. That's work. Hold it. And then exhale. Another deep breath right there. Chest lifts, lungs fill up. Exhale. Two more on your own time. It's the biggest breath you've taken all day. Lungs fill up, rib cage expands. And after your next sigh, slouch. The opposite. Let your head drop. You're in that nice slouch now. That would be flexion of the neck, flexion of the cervical vertebrae. For lots of you, it's flexion of the thoracic spine, those mid-back vertebrae. It would be very appropriate to feel some stretch on the back of the body. Hands can come to the floor in front of you. Again, if the floor seems an awful long way away, make your arms longer. I may even come down and rest my elbows right on those blocks. If I were to do this on the floor, I don't usually have a problem getting my elbows to the floor. I raised myself up to make my hips and back more comfortable. Now this is a stretch. So you're going to go to what's appropriate with you for you. Head dropped, thoracic and cervical spine get to come forward. And then you bring yourself forward. Now, limiting factor here for many of us is going to be the inner thigh muscles. Let's start in a place of ease, not big stretch. As you find these places of ease, and you just ask for a little stillness, you'll notice, if you watch, listen, and feel, that the body starts to release a little more tension. You may not have noticed you were holding on. You may not have noticed you were gripping. But these hips, this lower back, they've been responsible for holding you up all day. You may need to gently fall into ease, not slam yourself there. Now, I'm quite comfortable here. I'm going to still bring my knees up again, bring them into a little ease, and see what the difference is. If, because you're all one piece of connective tissue, each body is one piece of connective tissue, if I loosen it up in my hip joints a little bit, oh, I'm able to move a little farther. It's all your choice here. Where would you like to feel it? Restorative yoga says we don't feel it anywhere. You just are at ease. Yin yoga says there's a tension in the form of a stretch. We are attempting to find those the tissues, that are not muscular, which means they're not elastic. They are of plastic properties, a little like saran wrap. You cannot stretch them fast. They do not have a stretch reflex. They will simply tear. If you do that, it's torn. So we go into it with ease and gentleness. It would be very appropriate. I'm going to drop my head for you to feel this somewhere between the base of the skull, down your back, into your lower back, into your butt muscles, and deep, deep, deep into the hip joints. Also, because the legs are spread, abducted hips, inner thighs, and groin. Now I'm using my arms as props. I could just as easily reach for another bolster, put that in front of me. Sometimes nice to do this in front of a chair and rest here. All of those are options. My arms, as I was saying, are props. So I'm going to let any work in my body be done with my arms, but I also want to minimize that as much as possible. And then I'm going to gently start to walk myself over more towards the shin of my right leg. And I may not get very far doing that. That is setting up my left lower back to get some stretch, that place of the quadratus lumborum muscle and its connective tissue. I'm going to show you what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to rotate to get there, right? Shoulders are going to stay parallel to the floor. We want to do this to get out of the stretch, but in our practice, we want the stretch, the tension to stay there so we can get the appropriate tissues addressed. You may need to back out a little bit. The best judge we have here is your breath at ease. A body at ease breathes at ease. So if you're breathing and air's squeaking out, or if you're holding your breath, that's not ease. You know how to find the ease. Come back to the straw. Back into the middle unless you liked it over there. Again, you're always free to stay where you want. Let's take just a couple breaths here. And for me, just stretching that one side of my lower back was enough to bring a little more range of motion here. I'm going to gently start to crawl myself over towards the left shin. Again, we may not be able to go all the way to the knee. I want my butt bones to stay grounded. Just want to move enough that the opposite side lower back is in a position that The tension in form of a stretch is present there. We have a body that is talking to each other on a cellular level all the time. We have a body whose connective tissue is communicating. So, what's happening in the toe or what's happening in this hip is noted by the rest of the connective tissue. That spider web image that I used the other day. And very often, the second side that we do already has a little bit more mobility in it, just because the body, in talking to itself, has said, fear not, we know what's coming. Of course, if you've ripped something on the other side, that's not the conversation. But if you go in with ease, body says, we've got this. We've done this before. It's also happening in your brain. As you're ready, back to that center. I'm going to put my hands on my feet, push myself up, slowly come into extension, because as those connective tissue pieces in the back of the body were lengthened, they like to move slowly. I'm coming all the way into this extension. Nice deep breath here. Exhale, just drop your chin. Then your upper back. One more time, come down. We'll check in this forward fold. There may be a difference. There may not be right now. Push yourself up from there. I'm going to move to the second position, the lumbar extension, with very little fanfare. I'm going to change directions here. I'm going to set my bolster up. We've set this up before this way. I am going to keep my feet flat on the floor and keep my hips and legs at relative ease so I can just see how my lower back is doing. Take my bolster, pull it all the way into my pelvis. Again, at my height with this bolster, generally speaking, this is a good height for me. I'm still going to be careful. I'm going to actually move away a little bit and then gently lower myself down. Gently let myself fall into ease. I just got a really nice adjustment there. I'm going to sit myself back up because I know I have a bit of a pillow here. My back is feeling less than limber. I'm going to give myself just a smidgen of a pillow. I'm back down, and that feels better on my neck. My head, my face is looking straight up to the ceiling, not where it was before. And then we're just going to find a little ease. I'm going to turn my toes in and allow my knees to fall in. That's very low stress for the hip joints. Now, this is actually a stretch for the front side of the body. Think those six-pack abs and your six-pack holder. That's what's getting elongated here. That would be an appropriate place to feel this. If you're feeling this in your back, it's because you've got too much of almost a fold. It's too aggressive. So you can slide your pelvis, your butt just a little bit farther away. Sometimes it's just getting rid of it. Getting rid of the bolster is the answer. You can keep coming a little farther away. Notice that people don't have their lumbar spine on the bolster at all. You're going to find what's right for you. I'm going to come back to that place again at my height with this size bolster. I know that this is a safe place for me. I'm going to get my hands out of the way for a minute too. I'm just going to get my arms across my chest. And my shoulders aren't adding any stretch right now. My hips and legs are at ease, and all I need to do is put my attention on the lumbar spine. Again, the front superficial line of the body is what we're asking to elongate here. We've got to make sure that the lumbar spine is safe here. If your lumbar spine is safe here, let's make an arm change. We're going to add some more stretch to that tissue. If it's available to you, hands come out to the side. If your shoulders popped up, I'm going to say you don't have it available. You may be able to move them a little bit or put them up on some pillows, right? And my arms are pretty long, my shoulders are pretty flexible. So I'm going to allow my torso to be held on this bolster. Rest my hands on the floor, wrists are going to rest. My elbows actually touch because I've got some pretty long arms. And I'm going to create that image in my head of my shoulders just gently draping down the sides of those pillows, shoulders going back behind me, arms back behind me. Therefore, there is a stretch on the front side of my chest, perhaps even out to the arms. It's the arm line when we look at connective tissue. When we add any tension to the connective tissue, it's also going to have an effect on what we were already stretching, right? This could create a bigger stretch for you. Check in with the lower back. The lower back does not like it. It's not a place you should be. Arms can do half an arm. Arms can come completely out of it. Check in. How's your breath? How are you breathing? Just notice where you feel any stretch. I know I said it's a front of the abdomen stretch, right? From pubic bone to rib cage. For me, it's my left shoulder that's feeling it today. It's not where I always feel it, but that's what's present. That's the tightest thing today. So that's apparently where I'm going to feel it. In this position, let's do a modicum of work. We're going to take 3 breaths on your own time. It's a nice inhale in, rib cage filling up, lungs filling up. Let it go. Again, lungs fill up, which means the rib cage can change shape. One more on your own time. As we change the shape of the rib cage, we also change the position of the thoracic spine a little bit. The image of the torso getting just a little bit longer. The next change, should you want it, one leg extends. Check in back. That doesn't do any harm to your lower back. We also check in with the knee of that leg. A light stretch in the back of the leg would be appropriate, but not in the knee. If it's in the knee, I'm going to bring my other foot underneath my knee. That might be the answer right there. Can you bring your other leg along? Now, in doing this, your pelvis tilted just a little bit more. Check in lower back. That little tilt of the pelvis elongates the front, might put some compression on your lower back. If it does, you can wiggle away from the bolster just a little bit. This is a variation of Shavasana, one in which the upper body stays elevated, shoulders are coming back behind you, lumbar spine has the responsibility of holding you up all day, but it also has the movement of extension in its set purpose. Appropriate to feel this front line of the body, pecs, rib cage, able to expand a little bit more. The words that you've been hearing on repeat are Om. I'm gonna forget it now. It's the Heart Sutra, the line of the heart, that heart opener. Om a tree, Muye Sade do. I'll write it in the blurb of today's video. Ometry, Muye Sade do. There it is. Now I'll have you check in with your breath right here. Perhaps even eyes, face, and mouth. And this variation of Shavasana may be exactly where you would like to close your practice. You always have the option to come off the bolster and lie flat. That would be a nice intermediary. Another safe place would be one knee bent, then the other. Toes in a little bit, knees together. That pulls the pelvis out of the uh, forwardness that was in. It might relieve a little tension on the lower back. Arms one at a time can come back in, taking that stretch out of your body. Again, if you would like to close your practice in this variation of Shavasana, do so. I'm going to choose to close mine in a seated position. So I'm going to let my knees come gently to one side, roll, use my top arm to help me up, back to the seated position. Take a few more breaths right here. If you can open your eyes, check back in with the space that you came into. That place that may not be set up as your relaxation hiding place for every day, but it sure did the job for 30 minutes. I thank you for being here and joining me. Thank yourself for giving yourself the gift of ease. I'm Lisa Jameson. I appreciate you being here with me today, and I hope to see you back again.